G'day ladies and gentlemen, Big Ranker here for the NRL 2017 Round 2 recap and rank update. Let's start with the graph view. So here we have the teams all in one view from the start of the preseason, round 1 in the middle, round 2 at the end there. Now I'm going to come back to this afterwards because what I want to do is talk about each match first. So the Roosters versus the Bulldogs. So before the match, they were both mid-table in the ranks. Roosters were on the way up and Bulldogs on the way down, but pretty close. And I think a lot of people gave the Roosters too much credit here. And you'll see that the 28-24 4-point margin is actually a fair result based on the ranks. And so the ranks stayed pretty flat. So that was about as expected. The next match was Warriors and the Storm, and this was funny in my mind. Everyone was giving the Warriors a good chance, but if you look at the ranks, this was the biggest gap between teams this round, and the ranks just said it was the Storm by a mile. The Warriors didn't have a chance, and the result there, Storm by 16, slightly above expectations. So we've seen the Storm tick upwards again with that win. I think the margin was probably more, the ranks were predicting more about a 12-point margin. Broncos Cowboys. So I mean, have a look at these teams here before the round. B's Johnson separating them. I couldn't separate them. I didn't know who to pick. And it turns out they couldn't really separate themselves either with another golden point game. And a golden point game. I think the Broncos probably got a little bit of an advantage being at home, so they tick slightly down while the Cowboys have come slightly up. But both of these teams are quality teams and very, very closely rated. The Knights and the Titans, so both teams are actually pretty low. The Knights are obviously very low based off last year's bad season. The Titans, they're not doing that well, so the ranks are never going to pick the Knights over the Titans, but I thought there was a good chance here, and they have. The Knights came out with a win, but you'll see the result doesn't lift them up too high, and this is because the Knights won by 8 in a 60-point match. So that's not that much of a margin, which shows that it was probably subject to a lot of variance and not just due to a Knights' great skillful match. So they have gone up and the Titans have gone down, but probably not as much as you would expect. The Eels and the Rabbitohs. So both teams were in a downward trend after round 1. Souths were slightly higher ranks, but considering Manly at home, this was pretty much a 50-50 game based on the ranks. So the result of the Rabbitohs by 20 has seen them take a nice jump up, and Manly continue their slide towards the bottom. Raiders and the Sharks. So another funny one here. The Raiders were my number 2 rank after round 1. And they were favourites to beat the Sharks, but I thought the odds were $1.45-ish, were way too low. Everyone was overrating them or underrating the Sharks. We've got to consider the Sharks are still my 5th ranked team after round 1, and their loss was to a strong Brisbane team, and it was only an okay loss. Like, it wasn't like they got flogged. So, closer than it should have been. I thought the Raiders were going to win. The result, obviously, the Sharks gave the Raiders an absolute touch up there by 42-16. So the ranks have updated accordingly. Raiders dropping down and the Sharks picking right up. Tigers and the Panthers. Now, this was another good one to watch. I like both of these teams in terms of I like what they've got to offer the game, but I honestly just feel like they both lack consistency, and I couldn't pick it. Like, before the start of the game, I just had no idea how this was going to go. I thought the Tigers could win, the Panthers could win, it could be close, it could be a flogging. Had no idea. Turns out the Panthers were there for the game and the Tigers weren't, and they flogged them. And you can see they've pretty much, both teams have reversed their rank changes from round 1. And so I think these two teams are going to lack a fair bit of consistency. We need a bit more data on both of them to get any idea of their trend for 2017. And final game, Eels and the Dragons. Both teams had started well in round 1. Dragons were a bit of a surprise, and there were doubts over whether they could continue, as evidenced by the result, an 18-point loss. The Eels continue their slow and steady rise, and the Dragons come crashing back down a bit to their reality from the start of the season. So back to the full graph view, and so this is all of those lines graphed together. You can see the big thing there is the Storm is a clear leader up here with the next team all the way down here. And then there are 5 teams bunched in. all close together there. And then you'll see down here 7 and 8, Eels and the Roosters a fair bit away. And I think that's indicative of the quality of the teams at the moment. And then the rest are just spread out, sprinkled out all the way down to the bottom. So the Storm are clearly number one, and then there's a bunch of teams all competing for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then even seventh and eighth are in with good chance there. So interesting after round 2, still a long way to go. I also think a few teams, we'll go to the, so before I jump into that, we'll go to this, which is the table view, where I will cover the order and the position change. So Storm still number one, no change. The Panthers have come up 3 places. The Cowboys no change at 3rd. The Sharks are up 1 into 4th. Raiders are down 3. The Broncos have dropped 1. The Eels are up 1, and the Roosters are down 1. It's a pretty strong top 8. Now the bottom 8, the Rabbitohs are up 2. The Titans are down 1. Bulldogs up 2. Dragons up 2. Tigers down 3. Warriors up 1. Eagles down 3. And the Knights still right at the bottom. And will probably be the bottom for a while, even if they have a few wins. So that's, as I was about to say before I actually got to this page, I think a few teams look a little bit higher than I would expect personally, and a few teams look a little bit lower than I would expect personally. But that's why I do these ranks, because it is an automated algorithm. It is supposed to differ from human observation. The benefit is it won't be subject to any cognitive biases like I might, and it's just judging solely based on numbers and the data. So we're hoping this is going to actually be accurate. And overall, there might be some errors here or there, but overall it should be better or more accurate than my own human observations. We'll see if that holds up for the season. In the end, at that moment, I like it, but we'll see. But that's it for now. That's the end. Thanks for watching. Leave me some love if you liked it, comments, subscriptions, whatever. Watch some of my other videos and let me know if you want to see more. But until next time, good luck.